Ready Player One was written by Ernest Cline, and the story follows Wade Watts and, in the Oasis, after he finds the first clue to James Holiday, the creator of the Oasis, massive contest, he is chased down by many players and a massive company who are willing to kill to get the final prize. So Ready Player One, this is my first book review. It's something that I've always wanted to do. Kind of wanted to, do a book review and so here's my plan. I want to review Ready Player One, and I want to review Ready Player One, the movie, and then review Ready Player Two, which is somewhere over there, that I have gotten for my birthday by It's Laughin' or X'n Laughin'. One of my friends, you can check him out, great channels. His link will also be down in the description. So yeah, I read this book. I instantly wanted to talk about it on my channel after I finished reading it. And so this is going to begin book reviews. If you like my idea of book reviews, I have several more ideas of doing it. But this is mainly a channel where we talk about movies. So if you don't want to see any book reviews, just comment down below. But also, if you've read Ready Player One, what do you think of it? Make sure to subscribe to the like button, hit the bell, and comment down below exactly what I just said. And with that said, let's get started talking about this book. And the big thing here is this book was great. From level 1, and the levels are pretty much like the parts, level 1 and level 2, they were great. The main story, when he's going on this quest to try to find all this stuff, that's when the book was really, really, really good. Very enjoyable. I really enjoyed it when the main story, which is the MacGuffin kind of story, was taking place. Now, beginning of level 2 was kind of odd because it started out being kind of like a romance. And then level 3 really never got up to the rest of the book. Because it just started off, and this is a spoiler review. There will be spoilers later on, actually. Right now I'm doing spoiler-free, and then later will be spoilers. But, so when we get to part 3, it goes off in this direction, never really gets back right. And that's because the quest is over. And it really just never picks back up. Now it's all enjoying. It's very enjoyable. The entirety of the levels 1 and 2 are really, really, really great. I really enjoyed seeing Wade go through, or read Wade going all throughout the entire Oasis, going through so many pop culture stuff. And that's another thing. The pop culture stuff is absolutely amazing. It's not a studio movie. Like, in studio movies, they can only advertise stuff that is from their studio, which is why the Warner Brothers movie only has Warner Brothers stuff. And this thing can go anywhere. There's so many things from any studio, anything. I'm pretty sure he had to pay them, but he doesn't have to own the rights. And I really, really enjoyed all of that. The pop culture stuff was amazing. And I also enjoyed the main story as he's going through all this until we go into, the big twists and stuff to where it's back and forth from the actual main story to some random rabbit hole. And I understand why he did it. He did it because he wanted this book to feel like it's a normal person. My life isn't cliched. It doesn't have any, specific plot that you have to go down. And that's kind of what he made this book feel. But in, a book, it just doesn't really work. I like how he tried authenticating it. But for me, it just really didn't work. Also, Ernest Cline is really great at writing suspense. All of his suspense, everything that he writes, is just suspenseful as heck. There's one scene in the book, and I'm not going to tell you right now until it's a spoiler part, but the one scene in the book, it's like, this is kind of mediocre, and then bang, suddenly we got an actual threat for the book. There was no actual threat. It was just like, alright, cool. It's a nice, enjoyable ride. And then boom, suddenly we got a threat. We've got something to be aware of. And it really works. It's constantly throughout the book that there's this threat that we as the readers are aware of. We never feel like we're safe in this world because we know something's going to happen. It's a race. They're finding other clues. It's very, very intense. And Ernest Cline's writing ability is really good. I want to read more of his books. I have Ready Player 2, and obviously I will start reading that. But I am reading a book right now that, if you guys want it, I am planning on reviewing. So stay tuned for that. But anyways, I do got some negatives, and then I'm going to go ahead and move on to spoilers. And that is, obviously, the rabbit holes, like, where the beginning of the levels, they really took me out of the story, and then the entire third level, really just, I could not get back into the story. I finished the last, 50 pages, when I was supposed to be sleeping. I, had a flashlight under my bed, and I was reading my book, and I just really couldn't get into it. I really couldn't get back into the story after I read all the amazingness I could do in the 2 levels. And then this giant battle, and just really did not work. And then the main character can be pretty unlikable at times. There's several times where he says if he doesn't win this contest, he's going to kill himself. Several times where he's just kind of this selfish jerk. Not really someone that I would love rooting for. He wasn't terrible, but I wouldn't necessarily love rooting for him. They could have made a better character. Also, I do need to mention one thing before I give my score, before I go into spoilers. This book really, really, really is not like a kid's book. I thought this would be like a young teens. There's several F words. There's a bunch of mentions of sex. There's a whole page dedicated to, I'm a Christian on this channel, and there's a whole page dedicated to saturation, if you know what I'm talking about. It's kind of an inappropriate thing. I didn't actually say the word, but it's something that I'm not going to describe it. But there's an entire page dedicated to that. So this book is not for the weak-hearted. I really enjoyed it, but if you don't want to read about all that stuff, you don't have to. And so I'm just throwing out a warning here that this is a hard R book. It's not for weak-minded. And if you have kids wanting to read it, I would not tell you to let them read it. It's not a kid's book. But I personally really enjoyed the book. And so my final score, and then I'm going to go ahead and go into spoilers, is a B+. I'm going to give it a 7.5 and 3.5 stars. Ready Player One was a really enjoyable book until the 3rd level, and then I really just couldn't get back into it. But now we're going to go ahead and talk about spoilers in 3, 2, 1. If you haven't read the book, get off this video now, because I'm going to say a spoiler now. 3, 2, 1. H is a woman. H is a woman. And so that's not really, to me, a big negative. It's just kind of odd how, not really odd, it's just not something I was expecting throughout the story. It kind of shocked me. Not really one of those good shocks, too. It's just like, okay, that really wasn't necessary. I'm not, hating on it. It's fine. But personally, to me, it wasn't really that necessary. It wasn't crucial to the plot. But it was fine. Also, I do need to talk about Dado'S death, or is it Dado'S death? It's not Shadow, it's Dado. And so he died throughout the film, and that's what I'm book, and that's what I'm talking about when, and that's what I'm talking about with the Ernest Cline can write suspense. He really, really nails it right on the head with that, because he suddenly were kind of go through this dry spell, and then I'm getting to the page, and I was actually at theater rehearsal, just sitting there, and I couldn't stop reading, and I missed my entrance because I couldn't stop reading, because it was just so investing, and Dado'S death almost made me cry, and I never cry in books, but it was kind of sad, and Ernest Cline really wrote this investing world where we can totally see, or we can pretty much see exactly what's going on, feel the emotions of the world, we could feel Shadow's disappointment, Shadow's sadness, and to me, that stuff really worked. Dado'S death really was sad and kind of messed me up in the book. And also, I do need to talk about the plot holes. The whole thing is, when he goes to jail, it just never really picks back up speed. It's kind of random, really. It goes on this entire side quest. It's focused on one thing, and then suddenly Wade goes to jail. And to me, it's just kind of odd choice to throw in here. Obviously, I already said that it's probably because he really wanted to make this world feel like it's real, and that works. But to me, it's kind of a long plot hole, and to me, it just kind of ruined the book for me. I was loving the first 2 acts, but then when he does this, it just kind of never got back up, and that's unfortunate because this book was really amazing, and I would definitely recommend you read this book. It's Ready Player One. Obviously, I already gave my score, but if you want to see more book reviews, go ahead. I'm planning on doing this kind of format every time, where I do, like, my spoiler-free review, and then I talk about some more spoiler things, because books, it's kind of hard not to talk about spoilers, giving its brief stuff. And this book was made all the way back in 2010, 2011. I believe it's 2011. But, obviously, it was a really great book until it wasn't, and I would recommend you read it, but obviously it is a hard rated R book. So with that said, be sure to subscribe, hit the like button, hit the bell, and comment down below. Did you read Ready Player One? If you have, did you enjoy it? If you haven't, did you not enjoy it? Comment down below if you want to see more book reviews, because I'm reading a book right now titled 8 Perfect Murders, and I really want to talk about it because it's kind of interesting. But with that said, as always, this was my first book review. Thanks for watching, and always subscribe to join the Nerd Army. Peace out.